On the bar top today, Trenton, we have 4 brand new bottles we have never tasted before. A couple of bourbons and a couple of ryes.
I'm a little bit more excited about the ryes per se.
Of course,
as usual.
Of course.
But yeah, we got the Jack Daniel's bonded. I think this is a bonded.
Yeah,
bonded rye.
Yep.
And then we got the Rossville Union rye, the Penelope 9-year bourbon.
Wow.
Cast strength.
Okay.
And then I don't know if this was like highly anticipated or what, but the Remus 7.
Okay.
So
I'm curious for all of them. Of course, the Remus, the 5 was spectacular. 6 was a kind of a letdown.
Yeah.
It was a letdown. I'm hoping that 7 is good. Now, will they ever have one as good as 5? You know, that's okay.
So.
I hope so too.
Hope
but
so.
You know what I mean. When you have an elite release, you know, it's hard to get that every single time, and I understand that. This Penelope sounds great too. It's non-chill filtered. It's 9 years. It's heavy corn in the mash bill. Sounds good.
Yeah,
Toasted
delish.
barrel strength. You know, this is a very interesting rye here. We'll get to that when we start tasting it, but I don't know if you even knew anything much about this bottle when you got it.
No, I didn't.
I didn't think so. But let's start over here with the Jack Daniel's Bonded Rye, because there's so much talk about that right now.
Yeah. Glasses aren't usually supposed to do this, but they keep falling off, so I'm going to try something a little different.
Yeah, I think you told me it's going to be 2 weeks before you get your
2
new
weeks
ones.
before I get my new ones, so you get to see me like this for several more videos. I know you can't wait.
It's all right. You know, this is all of our friends and family. It's okay. I don't think anybody in the comments will make fun of you at all.
You just opened a floodgate, dude.
That's what I
you get
think.
to respond to all those comments. Anyways.
All right, so anyway, Jack Daniel's is $35. And let's face it, everybody that's a whiskey lover, if you get a solid $35 release, you're excited about that.
Oh,
Why?
100%.
Because it's $35. You can't beat that. You know, this is going to be part of their regular releases now. It's part of the Bonded series. And we're going to give it a shot here. It's the rye. It has a mash bill, Trenton, of 70% rye, 18% corn, and 12% malted barley.
Okay. Well, maybe a couple years ago, I wouldn't have been so interested in a rye product coming from Jack Daniel's, especially at a bonded. But with what we just covered, the Jack Daniel's twice barreled rye, heritage rye in the last video, the barrel proof rye that came out this year also, and the 2020 single barrel proof rye special release. I can honestly say that there's maybe 1 or 2 other distilleries that I would put at like highly anticipated rye releasers for me. At this point, I think they're killing it. So I'm looking for. I'm going to try and not put this on a pedestal too much, so it kind of ruins my initial impression. But
I get it.
$35. How could you be upset about that?
I completely agree.
It's a little mellow.
It's a little mellow. I think it's probably because of the filtering. I'm sure this goes through the same Jack Daniel's filtering, right, process. But it's kind of quintessential rye to me. It's you know, it's a little bit herbal, a little bit minty.
And I don't
with
know.
a little bit of sweetness.
Yeah. I should have tried the triple mash and the bonded maybe before this or something, but I don't remember there being a whole lot of flavor coming from those either, at least on the nose. So maybe this is on par with the other ones.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right. To me, I'm not, for $35, I'm not unsatisfied with the aromas at all.
Okay.
Wow.
It's okay.
Would you would you put that as the top of your rye?
No.
But
no.
but you know, okay, let's talk about it in the category that it sits. $35. Okay? We're not going to measure it up to Sagamore or you know, Willet 4-year
No,
or
you
know,
can't.
come on now. Let's be realistic here. But to me, there's a little bit of black tea in there. There's some kind of tea note.
I think maybe I don't know, it drinks quite a bit hotter to me than 100 proof, which is kind of interesting. Or if it doesn't, maybe it's that initial like rye spice kind of thing. But it's like like I drink rye quite a bit at home, so I'm kind of familiar with that. But this one just kind of like sucker punched the back of my
Did it?
What's the little thing that hangs on the top of your throat? You like touch it and you throw
Your little
up.
punch bag back there?
Yeah, that
Little punching bag?
So that it kind of like it's like somebody just sucker punched it a little bit. It's different. I'd say it's pretty well rounded. There's nothing in there that's going to jump out and be like, wow, this is spectacular and stuff. Again, we are fortunate enough, and we just reviewed the Heritage last video, so we maybe we're kind of thinking about that.
Yeah.
But I think this might be the cheapest rye apart from like Wild Turkey 101 rye.
Yeah, the Old Forester rye. There's a few out there. Sure, I get it. The Rittenhouse.
Yeah. Oh, man, I'm like completely spacing.
That's all right.
I would be interested to do like a more budget rye, maybe a blind or something, and include the Jack in there because I'd be interested to see kind of how it fares.
Where it lands, yeah. If you're interested in that, let us know in the comments for sure. That'd be fun. But to me, Trent, I mean, I get. Unfortunately, for me personally, I think that charcoal filtering process kind of particular Jack Daniel's flavor kind of rolls out a little bit more than what I'd like it to be in this particular release. However, past that, if you like that, if you're a Jack Daniel's guy or lady, that might be right up your alley. But I still get something like a black tea. There's some herbal minty notes there. There's a tiny bit of sweetness there too.
It's weird because I'm getting like a flat Mountain Dew kind of note in there. Mm-hmm. I don't know how you like Mountain Dew has this like very weird kind of profile to it. It's almost not off-putting, but it's just kind of different. Okay. And I'm kind of getting that. I honestly could say that I would most likely buy another one because it's a budget rye. I like a good budget rye.
Yeah. You could mix with this as well.
Oh, absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah.
Especially at that price point. So I think it's decent.
Yeah, decent. Solid
for the
effort,
price point.
Decent.
Yep. Let's move on. All right, buddy. This one here. This is very interesting to me. You brought this down here. This is Rossville Union, right?
Yes.
So this is out of Ross and Squibb Distillery. 6 years old. It's 100 proof. It is bottled in bond. Okay.
Ross and Squibb, also MGP.
Yep. Same thing.
Yes.
Thank you for that. I found online this to be $50. This is about $50.
Yeah, it's $49.99. I think is what I paid.
So $50 is going to be about your MSRP. Now, here's the kicker that I don't know if you even knew or not, but the mash bill on this is 51% rye, 49% malted barley.
Okay.
Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Oh,
I honestly, I saw 6-year rye, $49.99 from MGP, who's maybe notoriously one of the best rye producers out there right now.
Yes.
And I thought, I'm going to buy it.
Yeah, $50. I don't blame you.
There was something about the nose. I was either going to guess like a higher barley content or
you already
I took it.
Smelled some of the aromas. All right.
Yeah. Or like a specific strain of like a malted barley or something. Because usually when you get into New Riff does a lot of experimental ryes and stuff. Sometimes you get that with they experiment a lot with their rye grain or their rye heritagers or whatever strains. So it's interesting.
Yeah, to me this here trend comes out on the nose. You definitely get that malted barley, but it's more of a sweeter note and almost like cornbready. I know there's no corn in here, but it's almost like cornbread to me. Very interesting. Wow. So I didn't know if you knew what you were getting yourself into.
Nope.
Which I give them credit. They're outside the box. This is not their normal MGP rye.
No.
I mean, you know more about that stuff than I do, but when I saw that mash bill, I was like, okay, here we go.
Okay, hear me out. It kind of tastes like a basketball.
Unfortunately, I can get what he's saying. The rubber-coated outdoor basketballs, right? Why does the kid do that to me? Why does he put that in my head? But he's not that far off the beaten path.
Wow.
The barley shines through on this.
It does.
If you're a pure rye whiskey lover, this is a lot different than what you might expect. This is reminiscent. Now, don't give me a right cross here standing there, but it's reminiscent a little bit to me to the New Riff malted rye.
Yeah.
Reminiscent.
Yeah.
Not quite as good in my opinion, but hedging towards that flavor profile.
It's honestly like I like the proof point as that it is at. Mm-hmm. I think honestly like there's some nice sweet notes. I would say maybe like a caramely type of situation. Yes. But this is one that's pretty has a high emphasis on the grain, like especially the barley.
Yes.
If you're not a huge barley fan, I honestly don't think you would like this.
Correct.
For me, I don't want to speak for you. I like it. It's unique.
It's unique.
It's not something I'm going to drink all the time. But if I was out of one, I would honestly probably pick up another one, especially at the price point for and a 6-year
Right.
too.
And that's exactly the same words. I won't repeat them, but that's exactly what I've said. I would have said as well. For the 6-year and the whole 9 yards, and the price point is not bad. It's really, it's a different drinking experience for a rye whiskey. I still get a little bit of that rye punch. You know that.
Yeah.
You know that little bit of tingle on your tongue. You get that rye note, but past that it goes immediately into the barley notes.
Yeah. This has, I will say, this has a less of a punch than this one did, in my opinion.
Sure, I can agree with that too. All right, let's move on to some bourbon, pal. You want to?
Yeah.
This one here. Go ahead.
Full disclosure: this was sent by our friends over at Penelope.
Oh,
so
was it?
Michael, if you're watching, thanks, buddy.
Oh yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
As usual, when we are fortunate enough to receive bottles or samples from distilleries or you folks, just because you send it to us for free doesn't mean we're not going to tell you what we really think.
No, that's for sure. Always be honest.
This is a 9-year Penelope.
Yeah.
Cast strength.
Yep.
And unless I'm mistaken, Penelope sources from MGP. So this is potentially 9-year MGP.
Do you have a price point on it at all?
I do not. I will do a little bit of research, and since it was sent to us, I'll do a little bit of research and put it up on the screen.
Well, right here on the back label, Trent, which I do always appreciate. The more information I can get on a label, the more I appreciate it. The mash bill is 85% corn, 10% rye, 2% wheat, 3% malted barley. So as I spoke earlier, it's a corn-heavy mash bill. It is a 4-grade, but it's it's barely a 4-grade. So 109 proof, and again, Trenton will try to get a roundabout price for you.
And this also says right here, distilled in Indiana and Kentucky. So this isn't just sourced from MGP.
Okay, glad you saw that. So it's a little bit of a blend from different distilleries.
You can smell the 4-graininess on it, I feel like.
Isn't that weird? I mean,
even like for what?
It's
the
just
2 or
strange.
3% that's in it.
Yeah.
My throat's getting dry.
I don't know. Boy, I'm getting some deep maple note.
Yep.
Almost like a I want to say burn, but that's not it.
Well,
It's like a dark and rich maple note.
yeah. Like a bruleed maple syrup.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
There you go. You know.
I just lit some bananas on fire for our Patreon. We did a cocktail video on Patreon, and I got to light some stuff on fire.
and his mom was very nervous, and she made sure she was down here for that.
Yeah, she was thrilled.
That's a whole other story. Trenton taking a trip to the fire department when he was young.
If you guys want to hear about that sometime, maybe I'll tell it. But
Not today.
yeah, it's like it is very maple forward. That's really the only thing apart from like a distinct 4-grain profile that I'm getting on the nose. It smells kind of thick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a little bit of baking spice on there for me, and some real nice, dark,
that's a good
rich.
I was thinking like
Maple
cinnamon at first, but baking spice is a little bit
I
better.
think so. Yeah.
That is like that's a roller coaster of a palate, man.
That's really nice.
Do you get maple on the palate?
Not a lot.
I don't either.
Not as much as I did on the nose. I'll have to search for it again. If you're a fan of a toasted bourbon, this is really good. The age of the bourbon, the 9-year age statement, really lends well to a richer, more complex sip.
I don't know if it almost... I get these two confused sometimes. I don't know if it morphs more into a butterscotchy kind of profile, but it's almost like a sweet candy-ish kind of note. To me, vaguely reminiscent of like a Buffalo Trace, dialed down a little bit with some more of like a dark sweetness instead of like the really sweet tart, as I kind of put it usually with both Buffalo Trace.
Yeah.
It's kind of dialed down, and you get some nice grain notes in there too.
That's a good explanation. This is a quintessential toasted bourbon.
It's like if you licked a piece of toast. Honestly, you get that like, I don't know how to describe it, but afterwards you get like a nice toasty, like a little...
I mean, this is top-notch toasted bourbon, and the age, I have to think, you know, if it's a blend of some sort, 9-year has to be the youngest in the
Yep.
blend. So the age of this whiskey really develops nicely with the toasted multiple barrel.
I don't have the information right now to speak to the price of it, but I would say if this, like being a 9-year, if this is 100 to 110, about the $100 price
Yeah,
range,
yeah.
I think it's very solid.
Say it again, especially if you're a toasted bourbon fan. Now, for me personally, it doesn't rank top on my list. I do enjoy it. I do appreciate it, but it doesn't rank high on my list.
Do you like toasted stuff usually?
Yeah, I do, but again, I would never pick one of them as my favorite.
Okay.
That's just my palate. So,
I think they did a great
but
job.
I think it's a great. Yeah, I think it's fantastic. I really do. I think it's great. All right, let's move on. This is going to be exciting, Trent. This is Remus number 7. Remus 7. Again, to repeat myself, Remus 5 was spectacular. Remus 6 was a huge letdown. So let's find out what Remus 7 is all about.
Hopefully not a huge letdown.
I'm praying not.
I think this was $89. I don't know how that compares to last year. I think this is the first one that I bought. Did you buy? I think you bought the 6. I don't know.
I don't remember. I kind of sometimes don't remember what I did yesterday.
I feel you. I'm getting to that point, unfortunately.
Wow. Almost apple cidery on the nose.
I get like a vague pumpkin kind of note.
Yeah, like a fall, the whole fall
Yeah.
thing going on in there in a lighter sense. Not a dark, deep, rich, but a lighter sense of fall, apple cider.
If you kind of take everything associated with the fall, like hay and pumpkins and apples and like whatever else, and kind of just shove it into a bottle and a glass, maybe with some oak too. I mean, that's pretty much what I'm getting.
Yeah.
Maybe mine. I'm not getting like
No.
a cinnamon or a baking kind of
No,
thing.
no.
It's more of like a fresh produce.
Yeah, honestly. Spot on, dude. Good job.
Okay. I think this is a blend of 5 things.
This one's also 100 proof, Trent, and I don't know much about this. I didn't have a chance to look at it.
You're welcome.
Yes, it is a blend of 5 different bourbons. All of 3 of them are 21% rye in the mash bill. 2 of them are 36% rye in the mash bill. Let's see, 2007, 2013, 2014, 2013, 2014.
It's a lot of math.
Yeah, so basically, 9 years is the youngest bourbon in this particular blend. So I like the information on the label.
Yeah.
So some older, but the 9 years is the absolute youngest, and it does have, and all of them are very close to each other. Only 6% of the bourbon is the 2007 barrel bourbon. Otherwise, the rest of them are very close to each other in the 20 percentile range. So, in the blend.
That's 6% is 15-year bourbon?
Yes.
Wow, okay. I will say the palate for me falls... It doesn't match the nose in terms of like the... I don't want to say the richness, but it's not as obvious on the first or second. I think I've had 2 pours of this or 2 sips of this so far. I get sort of like a red apple. It's not like a green apple that's like kind of up front, sour in your face. It's more of like, when I think of red apple, I think of just kind of like a one-noter kind of thing.
Sure.
That's kind of what I get. I don't. What are you getting? I'm not.
Well, again, the flavor palette to me is more on the lighter side. Once again, it doesn't delve into deep, dark, rich flavors. It's kind of wanting to get to that release number 5 level.
Yeah.
It's definitely, in my opinion, better than 6
Okay.
for sure. However, it's just odd to me that there's that much older bourbon in here,
Yeah.
and it doesn't really taste like that much older bourbon to me. That's not saying it's not pretty good.
I don't remember 6. I don't know if I was on the show when we tasted 6, and I definitely don't remember tasting 5. But this, especially for the $90 price point, a little disappointing for me. I think it's kind of more of a one-noter. I'd have to actually sit down and do the math with the ages and everything in it.
Yeah.
But I just don't think the value's there for what you're getting.
Yeah, for
if
me,
this was $60,
I'm getting a little bit of that apple cider, maybe a little bit on the palate. I'm getting some caramel. There is some spice there. There's definitely some tingle going on there. Some light caramel. I'm searching really for more than that.
Yeah.
I have to agree with Trenton 100%. I do believe it's a step up from 6. And it's hard to get to that level. When you put out an incredible release, it's just hard to get to that again, and I'm good with that. But the price point here for me too, that's a good $50, $60 bottle to me.
Yeah, I agree.
$90 is a little bit high for it, but if you're a Remus fan, if you're a fan of this release, trust me, it's a step up from 6 for sure.
I'll have to try the 5 and 6 after this and kind of see what it's all about.
Okay.
But what are if you had to rank, rank these?
Them? Okay. Yep. Well, to me, I'm going to have to go, of course, I'm going to have to go Penelope number 1. I just thought that was that was the showstopper of the day. Then for me, I'd have to say for my particular palate, I have to go with this next. Then I'd have to go with the Remus and then the Ross and Squib.
You're putting the Ross and Squib last, bro.
It's just not, it's just, again, if you're that person that likes that high malted barley in a rye, this is your bottle. That's just not me that much. That's all.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I could flip-flop a little bit there, in a little discussion, but that's roughly where I'm at.
Well, I would have to agree with you on the Penelope. I think incredible job. Mm-hmm. And when I rank these, I'm taking into account the value for what we paid and everything. So I'm going to go the Penelope. I would then go the Rossville Union. It's unique. It's 6 years. It's priced appropriately. I'm a big fan. I would then go the Jack, and then Remus for me would be last place.
Wow. Okay.
The only reason I say that is because the price point is almost 3 times as much, and with this, I'm just getting a little bit more of a complex flavor profile with Remus. It's just kind of like just kind of coasting.
All right. Well, there you have it. That's our opinion on these 4 brand new bottles that we've never tasted before. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, we ask you to please drink responsibly. See you next time, right down here with Trent and I in the good old basement bourbon bar. See you later.